ShapeHero Factory. Let's cut right to it. After spending countless hours with this game in pre-release, fighting against its most painful flaws, I'm setting my final score to a hopeful yes. The 1.0 launch is here, and I genuinely believe the developers have corrected their path, restoring faith that the core of a great game was always there. My old review was a definitive no, but my complaints were never about the fantastic concept. They were about the balance and the RNG. I'm deep into the full release now, and while I need more time, the early things are incredibly promising. The core conflict, factory versus clock. This game is unique because it's a timed, regulated factory builder. You're constantly fighting two enemies, the complex production chains and the relentless clock. When it works, the core loop is thrilling, a satisfying scramble to optimize under pressure. But before 1.0, the core loop was undermined by two massive soul-crushing problems. Problem number 1, the end game cliff. The pacing was broken. You would master mid-level crafting, get excited to build something massive, and then bam, the game was suddenly over. It had a no-endgame feeling. The difficulty, especially in the infinite mode, hit a sheer vertical cliff. The scaling was so aggressive that you didn't have the time or resources to experiment with the higher-tier components. You need absolutely flawless optimized builds just to unlock the highest level units, meaning an entire layer of the game was essentially locked behind the punishing difficulty gate. It just ramped up too fast, leaving no room for the sprawling, messy experimentation the factory game thrives on. Problem number 2, the tyranny of luck. This was my personal breaking point. The RNG was cruel and repetitive. Your factory success depended entirely on which research options appeared. The build process was engaging, but the research choices were not. Instead of offering interesting strategic decisions, the gameplay simply threw options at you, forcing you to make do with whatever landed. Was the reroll system often felt bugged? You'd spend your precious resource only to see the exact same 3 choices in the same positions. Because certain research pools were so small, the game created a high but painful variance. If you didn't get one of the handful of high-value researches required for top-level runs, you were essentially wasting your time and would be restarting until the game decided to give you a favorable hand. This absolutely modded long-term replayability. The 1.0 promise, rebalancing, and the chaos. My hope for the 1.0 launch was the developers would gain control of the research system and smooth out the difficulty curve. Instead of a random, poorly categorized system of basic, advanced, and general, I wanted a structure that offered players meaningful control, something split by function, logistics, resources, production, and unique dynamics. This would give the developers precise levers to manage the flow of the game, ensuring players always have the tools to meet the escalating demands. The issue was that the static difficulty and the reliance on random good rolls meant that if you were chasing a high prestige win, you were simply restarting until you hit a jackpot. A great factory builder should reward skill and design, not just luck. Concluding statement. Final thoughts on the upgrade and call to action. For a long time, this was the game I wanted to love, but it felt like it actively wanted to waste my time. It was the definition of a great premise spoiled by poor implementation. Now that the game is officially at version 1.0, the time for excuses is over. If the developers have finally addressed the aggressive scaling and implemented a more balanced, less influential research system, then this game will absolutely become the brilliant, unique automation roguelite it was meant to be. I'm playing now and my fingers are crossed. If you were interested in the game then, now is the time to give a fresh look. Did the 1.0 launch finally make this factory worth building? That's the question. So guys, thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button and set up notifications to not miss any new reviews. Bye.